Airwords Chapter 7, Using Sound Bites from Those Interviews. Adding a soundbite is not as simple as inserting a new bite into the script. Each soundbite needs a write-up to help the viewer and listener understand who is talking. The script also needs to be written around the soundbite so it does not sound out of place. Bite placement. Bites are typically placed within a story. There is often more copy before the bite than the tag after. This means that there is more introducing the bite and explaining what the bite is going to say than the wrap-up afterwards. Try to avoid starting and ending on bites. A cold write-up is when you start on a bite, and it really gives no introduction to the viewer and can be confusing. There are 4 rules to write-ups. 1. Keep the interviewee's identification close to the bite. Typically, this is within 5 seconds. This can easily be achieved by just putting the name of the interviewer and some context the sentence before the bite. In radio, you want to use the name within 1 second of the bite just to give more context, given that they are not on camera. Rule 2 is to use a short, complete general sentence. This can really give context to the viewers and prepare them for the soundbite they are about to hear. Rule 3 is to avoid repetition between the write-up and the first sentence of the bite. You don't want to repeat what is in the bite in your write-up before because it will just take away from the bite itself. And last is Rule 4, avoid throwaway statements. We want to avoid things that say what she is doing in the bite. We don't want to say that she is describing the situation this way because she is going to do that anyway, and it takes away from the strength of the bite. An example is that if we're giving the soundbite from a lacrosse coach, the guys were ecstatic. They could not stop smiling the whole ride home. Then we would want to use it because it has lots of emotion. If the script was written prior to getting the bite about how great of a performance the goalie on the team had, it would not make sense. We would need to rewrite the script to fit the quote about the emotions of the players. The Jacksonville men's lacrosse team pulled off a feat this past weekend that had never been done by them before. After 4 quarters of play, the Dolphins came out victorious in a 14-12 win this past Sunday. 5-year head coach John Galloway said the feeling after were second to none in his time at JU. The guys were ecstatic. They could not stop smiling the whole ride home. Jacksonville men's lacrosse team hopes to continue this hot streak next weekend against Marquette. As you can see, this has more copy before and a short conclusion afterwards. The write-up to the quote to the soundbite is 5-year head coach John Galloway said the feeling after were second to none in his time at JU. This explains who John Galloway is, who's speaking, and gives some context for his quote.